All right, guys, welcome back to the show. One thing I always forget to do is put the display names up on the dang podcast when I have somebody around. So I did that real fast before anybody saw it, I'm sure. Welcome back to the show. We are going to get super off topic tonight. We are going to go so far in the weeds to where you're going to think, is this even a real podcast? Like, what is going on? Because I have my buddy Chris Plunkett here, and we are going to talk about everything. We literally have everything to talk about because it's been a while. We need to catch up. And I thought, what a better way than to just give it out to the masses. And we're going to sip some whiskey. My buddy Chris, he's in Tucson. You're in Tucson, correct? I want to make sure of that. Okay. So we are going to open up. I've already opened and done a full review of the Distiller's Cut Spring 2026. Go back and check the review I did of it, but I haven't opened this in probably a month. I sampled it out to a couple people, haven't opened it up in probably a month and a half, depending upon how long it's been out. I'm ready to get back into it because it has very interesting finishes. So, Chris, the first question I want to ask you before we even get into any of the other crap, for one, if you ate supper, what did you eat?
Despair. I was on a job far too late, so I did not eat yet. I will do that forthwith when this is over. Okay. And honestly, no, I had kind of a late lunch. We were on a job, so I have a couple of newer technicians that are learning how to do installs, and so I ordered lunch while we were on the job. But I realized that my wife realized at 1 that we were going to be there for a while, so she's like, "You should DoorDash some food." So closest thing that I saw that I wanted was some KFC. So I got some chicken and a biscuit and some mashed potatoes and gravy. So I'm sitting on a full belly at the moment. Well, full enough.
Full-ish.
Yeah. So far just liquid dinner. To get myself, I guess you could say primed for this. I did go to the Delbach, one of their core, the Dorado.
Okay.
That is always a go-to for me. So
absolutely.
But yeah, so I have not, I'm going to ask if you have supped.
I have. My wife she has turned into this, Gordon Ramsay type cook lately. Not lately. It's been the past couple of years. I'm gonna blame it on COVID, actually, in a good way. That's probably one of the only good things that came out of COVID was my wife just honing in on her cooking, and she doesn't want me to help. She doesn't want anything. Obviously, I clean up after her, but tonight she made a pan-fried chicken breast that was beaten down. And then she made some noodles to go with that, broccolini, and then the noodles she sauteed in butter and garlic, of course, as you should, and then kind of mixed it all together, and it was a really fantastic, I don't know what you call it, chicken piccata, whatever you want to call it. Didn't have capers or anything like that in it. It was just a really good dinner. And I am very proud to say that she cooks most nights. The nights that I cook, I get taco night and I do the barbecue around the house. So, that's pretty much all I do.
Those are important jobs though,
They really are. They really are.
They're almost as important as air conditioning.
I mean, they're not. I mean, air conditioning is great. Don't get me wrong. Cause I don't know how y'all have been, over there, but right now it's 64 degrees outside. So we're in a cool spell in May, which is really strange, right? But I know Arizona is a little bit different. Tucson is obviously different than Phoenix as well. You're not into the triple digits yet, but for May it should be at least 90.
We've already hit 100 2 or 3 times already in April. Now, not yesterday, the day before was in the 60s for the high. So make sense. We got slammed super early this year and we were busy. And it's everybody was 50, 60 hours. We're doing overtime. Then May rolls through and we're all right. And it's going to be nuts. And then it's crickets and 65 degrees.
Open the windows. You're fine. Okay.
I literally, Randall, I had a service call. A guy called me up. He's like, my air conditioner's not working. I was like, okay, open up a window. I'll be by tomorrow.
I get it. Okay. Let's go a little further back. let's talk about how we met, and then let's go even further back. What got you into whiskey first? And then we'll talk about the whole job thing, because obviously, if the people can see behind you, you have quite a few bottles back there. You're a whiskey nerd, and also a fellow whiskey sommelier. So, what got you into the art of whiskey, and where did we meet?
Oh man, so let's start with how we met. I was traveling through Texas and I saw this phone number on what is a Bucky's bathroom stall, and it said call for a good time, and I did, and Randall answered, and
Absolutely.
man, it's just been an absolute blast ever since.
It's been a banger. We'll just say that.
Yeah, you know what's fun? You say it's been a banger. I literally texted somebody earlier today. I was listening to some Celtic music because I do that a lot, and I was like, I want to start a radio station. It's going to be all Celtic hits and like some mashups here and there, and we'll call it Bangers and Mash. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. No, don't be sorry. This is exactly what I was hoping would happen. So thank you for breaking the ice with that, because okay, so let's talk about the Celtic music for a second. Are you just like jamming? You're just jamming Celtic music in the car when you're driving, or what?
The Devil's Dance Floor. I was cranking that. I have a Pandora station, and so like 3 or 4 songs in a row were just like total bangers, and then one is like just here. I'll turn the volume down so it doesn't start playing music that you have to pay for.
Oh, I ain't worried about it. I'm not sponsored or anything, so.
Well, let's see. So my where were we? It was Devil's Dance Floor by the Flogging Molly. Shipping Up to Boston by Dropkick Murphys. I love this song, Don't Go for the One by Gaelic Storm.
Okay.
If you've never listened to that song, it's great. The Irish Roar by the High Kings. And then something by the Dubliners that's in Gaelic that I can't read, but I'll do it so you can maybe see what it is. And
you got me. You got me.
So I listen to a lot of Celtic music, a lot of Irish and Scottish music. I don't know. It actually probably started listening to that around 2013 is when I started my business.
Okay.
Driving around, and I wanted to not listen to the radio, so Pandora, and then I found some tracks that I liked, and 2013, 2014 started really getting heavy into listening to that. But let's jump back how we met, actually, because Bucky's is a great story, but it's not true enough.
Yeah.
And we're not in the anyways. So me and Randall met at the Wizard Academy at a school for whiskey nerds, whiskey sommeliers. So we did Whiskey 2 together. I think we sat next to each other, and I elbowed you about 10,000 times, and we joked, and you were like, "Shut up, I'm gonna learn something," and I was like, "Oh, sorry."
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what happened.
He moved like the next seat over the next day, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. I'll be better." I think by lunchtime you moved.
No, come on. That wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. No, I will say one of the things that is so cool, and if you guys don't know, I mean, I've talked about it a couple times on the show. We've had Daniel Whittington on and stuff like that. If you don't know about the sommelier courses, look them up. But one of the cool things is it turns into a community of people that you can go to, you can bounce ideas off of, you can say, hey, what do I do here? I'm doing a tasting for these people or whatever. And it's just really cool, like-minded people. And then for some reason, Daniel Whittington himself had it out for you. Is that correct? Yes. Just say yes.
Okay. So here's the thing. There are definitely people in the room who, when you need to make a point of maybe a housekeeping item, there are people in the room that you can point at who maybe aren't the problem, but you couldn't say the thing to the person who is. So you say it to Plunkett.
Right.
Because he can take it. He's got thick skin.
Right.
He doesn't cry alone at night in the bathtub at all, ever.
Ever.
Because he has a shower.
Exactly. Exactly. And So going through those classes, they're not mandatory. Obviously, it's nothing you have to do. So it's very voluntary. But the people that are there, obviously, you're paying good money to go to these things, but it's also fun and it's hanging out with people. And some of the best times, and you can attest to this, some of the best times, or when you're done with class, you go back to Engelbrecht and you're just sitting around. Look at this weird thing that I brought and try it. It's not even, it's horse piss whiskey, or whatever. Like, try this. It is sheep tongue. Yeah, exactly. It is literally, yeah. Like, what is that one? The super sherry butt that you brought that one time?
Yeah, it's we called it. So it's a 16-year-old Bruichladdich Valanche that was released in 2022 for the Face. Mm-hmm. And we called it Sherry's Butthole because it tastes like water from Pensacola out of the tap. Yeah. And butt.
Yeah. And you and Zach Smith even tried to make a cocktail out of it. You tried to do everything you could to make that whiskey taste good. And then I tried it and I was like, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah. So it's not bad, but it's not good.
It's not good.
There's whiskey that is actually bad. And as an example, this one, where are we at? Right here. This is a German single malt that is also a sherry cask. And I was like, oh, that sounds amazing. And it's got like 3 different faults in it. And so it's bad. And I remember once upon a time, I got a Flavier. You mentioned Flavier the other day. I got a Flavier bottle. It's supposed to be some special, blah, blah, blah. They sent an email out 2 days after everybody received their shipment and said, please bin this. We're going to refund you. It was that bad. And I was like, I have to try it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I spit it out, dude. It was not drinkable. It was bad. Like, there was a major fault. Like, they either went way too high into the heads on their cuts or something. It was like chemical bad. Like, something went wrong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they literally told you don't drink. This is not for consumption.
Not yet, right? Not for human use. Don't feed your dog.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, that's crazy. Did we do Psalm 3 together as well?
We did. Yeah, you came and you kicked butt and did Psalm 3 before you started your treatment, and
I did.
I have to say, man, that was the day that you sent out that message that you had the all clear was like, that was a great day. That day was a win, brother. I was glad to hear that.
I agree. Me too. And I will tell you, just to let you know, I actually went to the oncologist today as of recording this and did some blood work. I have an appointment next week, but now I'm at almost 2 years past this. And I'm just, every time I go in there, it brings me back to that first day of walking in there and starting treatment. And I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. But but all the people there were just so nice. And of course I was cutting up like you are, just making fun of everybody and, talking crap to everybody, which is that's how you get through life. Right. You can't be that guy. You can't be like, oh man, life sucks. You just got to be like, dude, this is happening. Let's go do it. And now going back and seeing the people and seeing the nurses that were there and, taking care of me and helping me, and seeing like one of them has a new baby. And it's just seeing the growth of that and how I can be a blessing back to them and say, hey, and go. And I told them, I said, I'd be more than happy to go back there in that treatment room and tell my testimony to all of these people that are going through the struggle right now and say, there is hope at the end of this. Because now obviously some people are terminal and some, there's a lot of issues that people are dealing with. And I don't want to harp on that part, but just seeing all that and then going today and just doing blood work. That's all we were doing. They took a couple vials of blood. That was it. But it brought me back to there. And I look at the time when I walked in the door and the time where I am now. And I'm like, I am so much stronger, not only physically, mentally, but spiritually stronger in everything that I'm doing. It just makes me very proud to have people like yourself that have cheered me on through this. And I know all the people that are listening as well, they cheered me on through all of this. And I can't wait to, get to 5 years and get to ring that bell and just say, hey, I'm done with this. And obviously you're never done, right? Everybody needs to take precautions in everything they do, and do blood work every once in a while just to make sure and check your levels. And everybody's been affected by it. And that's the other thing. Everybody has a close family member that has been affected by it. And I'm just such an advocate for cancer research and cancer screening and all of those things now, whereas before I was like, who's that? That's for somebody else. And now when it's affected me personally, it has made me like a roaring advocate for it. And I appreciate all the prayer and supports that you guys and all the sommeliers. I can remember the last night when we, because we did level 3, and that's the big one besides level 4, obviously, but that's the big one. And we were all sitting around the night after, and it just, like everybody was just very appreciative and understanding. And obviously I was, I was a little taken back and a little emotional from it, just from the outreach of the community and these people that barely know me. I feel like we're all friends, but like, they barely know me. And for them to reach out like that, like they did, it just, I don't know, it meant a whole lot to me, and it meant a lot to my family as well. Cause obviously, when it uplifts me, it uplifts everybody else. And it made me carry that torch a little bit further. And it got me through some hard times. So when you guys are out there thinking that my voice doesn't mean anything, or me talking to this person doesn't mean anything, it really does, because the things that Chris said to me and the other people that were at the class, it meant so much. And it gave me the fire to push through that. Cause that was literally like that Monday or whatever I went and started. So it was like the last hoorah before I got started. And it really means a lot that you say that.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it was a unique time.
It really was. I don't know if there's ever been another somm class like that, but which is probably good. We don't need many more like that. But I will say it was a lot of fun. But okay, let's go back to what got you into whiskey.
Yeah, so it was kind of one of those things. In my 20s, my early 20s. Did you already pour?
I did. I poured a little bit.
Do you hear that? I love that sound.
I love that sound.
So in my early 20s, I am not ashamed to admit that I was a gin and tonic guy.
Okay.
And then that kind of turned into a gin martini. I'm proud to say I've never done vodka. Never done vodka. That's not my. No. You know what I have had is barrel-aged vodka, and that's actually pretty decent.
It actually is not bad. I mean, that's JT Mellick, isn't it? Anyway, sorry.
Crowded Barrel. I did one of those.
Yeah.
It was the first time I had it. Yeah, the silly old goose. Anywho, I was like hanging out with a friend of mine, new friend that I made, and he had some Bookers, maybe. No, Bib and Tucker. I'm not sure. And I tried it, and I was like, this isn't terrible. It's a bit all in your face for me, but it's not terrible. And then we sipped on that for like probably a couple of nights, not in a row, but a couple of nights over the course of a week or two, because we lived pretty close to each other. So I was at his house or he was at my house, and we were trying different stuff. And having drank gin, like I already was used to the ethanol. Like that was already like that's what I was drinking was ethanol, basically, because gin has no flavor besides that berry.
Right.
And I say that having been a gin guy. Anywho, then I got into drinking whiskey a little bit here and there, and I started to enjoy it. And then one day we were out with some friends. One of my wife's coworkers, she worked at a dental office for 15 years, and one of the dentists that worked there was relatively new dentist. And she was like, "Hey, we're going to go to this thing. It's Whiskey Wednesday at this place." And I was like, yeah, "I'll go. Half off whiskey, why not?" I was drinking for effect back then, right? Half off, that means I can drink twice as much. Right. So she tells me, and I'm this is somebody else's words, please don't. You can drink this, you can get this drink I like, it's called Oban, and you get it on an ice ball, and it's really good. So I ordered an Oban on an ice ball and I tried it and it was good and I enjoyed it. And I had a nice drink. And then I had, 3 more. And then they were like, you got to try this Glenmorangie. That one's a really good one. The Glenmorangie 12 year. I have the 12. I have a couple bottles of the 12 because they discontinued it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really liked that. That was the one that I was like, oh my gosh, all of the things are going up, all the bells are going off. I'm enjoying this. And I was like, I wonder what this tastes like when it's not watered down.
Mm.
And that was where my journey into whiskey started. And I was like, ooh, this is even better when it's not 34 degrees. You can actually taste the things. And then I learned why, right? Like in school and in my journey, I learned that, hey, when it's not cold, the cold compresses those flavors and mutes them. And so I started trying stuff neat. And I was like, wow, that's great. That's why my Instagram is I too am a neat guy with a bunch of underscores.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's where the journey started. And then I watched this show called Parks and Rec. And I know everybody knows Ron Swanson. You can probably see him somewhere up in that region there. He's
right there. Right there. Yep, right there.
So I'm watching this show. I watched like almost the entire series. And I don't know at where this all happened in the mix of things, but I had started drinking whiskey and people started giving me bottles like for anniversary presents or things like that. And one day we're out for Whiskey Wednesday and I see on the menu Lagavulin 16. And I was like, Scarlett, my wife, Scarlett. I was like, Scarlett, hey, look at this. This is a real whiskey. The thing that Ron drinks, it's a real thing. I didn't know that. I thought they just made it up like Heisler, all the beers on TV are Heisler, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, I gotta try it. It's half off anyways. Who cares? So I got a Lagavulin 16 neat and I discovered peat. And I realized what was missing from my life. And that was so my journey started with Glenmorangie. My journey got into the rocket ship when I had peat the first time. And I was like, I need to know. I didn't know it was peat. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know why. All I remembered was that it was kind of like the only thing that I had before that was even a little bit like that was the Oban. And they're lightly smoked. And so I was like, okay, I've got to figure this out. And I started doing some research. And a few years later, I was like a full-on total peat head. And, I didn't chase proof like a lot of guys do at a certain point. I chased peat. And so I've got things like right here. This is a peat week from Albany. There's other things that are behind that way in the corner, the Benriach Smoky 10 or Smoky 12. Like I just started chasing peat and I started realizing, how many nuances there were. And I knew early on that all Scotch is whiskey, but not all whiskey is Scotch. And the same with bourbon and Irish and all those, all those phrases that we use when we talk to people and so I learned those things early on, but I started realizing I didn't know about the regions in Scotland. I started learning about those. And then fast forward a few years to about 2019, pre-COVID, I met Dave Young, Vice Chancellor of Wizard Academy.
Right.
And Dave and I were in a BNI chapter together. And that's how we met. Well, the way we met was Craig Arthur, who's one of his business partners, calls me up from Australia. Right. And he says, hey, in his Australian accent, which I'm not going to try to reproduce. I've got this friend of mine that is my business partner and blah, blah, blah. And he's there in Tucson. And so I met Dave and he ended up becoming a member of the chapter that I was in at BNI. And I did some just a little bit of work with Dave early on, like some video recording he did for me, which we ended up scrapping because I was terrible. And he was like, so you really like whiskey? I was like, yeah. And he's like, have you ever heard of the Whiskey Tribe? And I was like, no. This is 2018. No, it was 2019. It was like right at the tail end of 2019, right before we went into the COVID experience.
Right.
And so I discovered the Whiskey Tribe, and within 2 years, did Somm 1. And during COVID, I had like a bottle of scotch, maybe 2 different scotches. I had a bourbon. I had an Irish. I had like one of each, and that expanded pretty quickly during COVID. And in fact, by 2021, I was buying cabinets to put stuff in because my wife was like, "We can't keep putting these all over like every flat surface in the house had whiskey on it." So then I started buying cabinets. Now so what you see are some really nice, neatly arranged shelves. What you don't see are the floor covered, that entire wall.
Yeah.
Cabinets in the other room. We have a shelf just for things that aren't whiskey in one room.
That happens.
So you said that we haven't had a somm class like the one that you went to, but we had one that was, I'll call it as interesting.
I know where you're going.
So just to show how much of a peach David and Daniel really are. All right, let's go to 2022. I think January, February. I forget exactly when. I drive out for somm 1, and me and my wife drive out to Texas from Tucson. It's a 12-hour drive. So this time we decided to split it up and do 6 hours and 6 hours. We left in the afternoon on Sunday, and then I woke up Monday morning in the middle of Texas. I forget wherever we stopped, halfway point. I wake up and I'm like, oh man, I'm not feeling good. My throat's really scratchy and my sinuses are all dry. And I'm like, man, this hotel's dry. Like, yeah, we're out in Texas. I have a humidifier at home.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like garbage. So we get all the way into where are they at there? They're not in Austin. They're just outside.
Dripping Springs.
They're at Dripping Springs. Yeah. There's a CVS at the corner, like 3 miles away.
Yes, I know the CVS.
We're approaching the CVS, and I'm like, you know what? Just out of an abundance of caution, because we're working with people who use their palate and their sense of smell for a living. Right? It's that serious. Just in case I do have COVID, I'm going to take a test. So I hit the CVS. We're in the parking lot. I do the test, wait the 15 minutes or whatever. I follow the directions implicitly, and it comes back negative. And I'm like, okay, good. So like by this time of day, like 6.5 hours, 7 hours later driving through, like I feel fine. I don't have a single, my throat's not scratchy anymore. I'm just like, okay, yeah, it was just a matter of being in a crappy hotel for the night, not using.
Right.
I have this thing. I didn't use my pillow, and I'm such a princess when it comes to that.
Amen.
So we get to the place. I'm sitting, like you mentioned, we're not in Engelbrecht. Everybody's sharing bottles. I've got a bottle or two that I brought with me, and we're all hanging out. And I'm sitting between was it Jason and Sauter and oh man, I'm trying to remember who's on my left. I think it was Jack. And like across from me is like Cliff and a bunch of really great people, huge in the somm community. So fast forward to the next morning, Tuesday morning, day of class. I wake up because I can't breathe. And I'm like, what's going on? I wake up in a panic and I'm like, and I finally get a breath and I go to the bathroom. It's like 4:30 in the morning. I go to the bathroom and I'm just literally, I'm hacking up a lung. I'm not going to get all gross, but I'm to the right. I'm coughing so much I vomit.
Oh,
it was bad. And then I'm blowing my nose and and it just keeps coming and keeps coming. And so finally, at a certain point, I'm like, I wonder if I'm sick.
I wonder.
I'm like I woke up just expecting I felt like crap because maybe I overdid it at Engelbrecht, even though I thought I did.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, so I have another COVID test. It's in my stuff. I look around in the room and I find it. I do the test and it comes back immediately positive.
Oh God.
And I'm just like, son of a bee sting. This is the worst. So it's like 5 a.m, 6:30 hits, and I'm like, I'm gonna text Dave soon. So I set an alarm for 7. At this point, my wife knows what's going on, and she's freaking out. She's like, "How are we gonna get home? Because if you're sick, I'm gonna be sick within hours."
Right. We're not gonna want to drive.
Yeah, exactly. And so I text Dave at 7. Hey, FYI, took a COVID test last night on my way in. It was negative. I took another one this morning. It's positive. You know, I want you to know so you can let everybody know whatever you guys are going to do. They canceled the class. There was, I think 9 or 11 of us in that class. Mm-hmm. They canceled it. It turned out, I forget who, somebody else was sick. I think Gary Bernier. Mm-hmm. No. Who's the other? Who's the other? The other Canadian. He helped build the program. He's one of the somm 4s. Anyways, yes. Somm 5s. I don't know what do you want to call them. Yeah, anyway, whatever. So they canceled the class. Let everybody know someone was sick and to quarantine in your rooms. Blah blah blah. They got everybody breakfast. Got everybody lunch. We reconvene in June of 22 for somm 1, and they ended up putting 2 classes together. Largest somm 1 class they've ever done. Largest somm class they've ever done. Right. So for anybody that hasn't done this yet, tune out for the next 30 minutes or 3 minutes. We go in. We introduce ourselves and share an interesting fact, something nobody knows about you. And so I say, hey, how you doing? My name's Chris. I'm from Tucson, air conditioning. Something nobody knows about me is that I am the reason we are all here today instead of 6 months ago. And everybody was like, oh my God, that was you? I didn't know nobody knew until that morning. And Dave was like, nobody knows that was you. And I was like, well, they need to. Like,
I mean, I'm going to be the one, I guess.
Now, this is to show you, like, just how much of a peach these guys are. The organization. They didn't share that information. It wasn't like, they didn't put that out there. But they took care of everybody's transportation back, and then coming back again. I told them not me because like I'm responsible for this. Handle mine. Right. But they still wanted to, and I was like, no, it's okay. Like really, it's all right. I drove out here, so it's not a big deal.
Right.
There was a woman who came from England. Oh, crap. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Did she come back for
She did.
The next one? Sweet. Did.
Yeah.
Sweet. She at least got her reward at the end, right?
She did. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that was so my love of, so we left somm 1 because Scarlett came out to Texas with me and hung out. Mm-hmm. She didn't go to the class, but she hung out with us in the evenings and stuff. Afterwards, the next week, we went to Scotland for the Face Shield Festival on Isla.
And that just kind of put the stamp on it, right? Right there.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. What was it? They ask in BNI when it's your feature presentation, what's your burning desire? And it used to be, I want to go to Scotland and tour as many distilleries as I possibly can. Now it's, I want to go back to Scotland and not come home.
Amen. Amen. I think that's everybody. I don't care if you like Scotch or not. I want to go to Scotland and just live there. Just be like, I want to hang out with that person. Go live in I'll live in your shed. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I just want to hang out. I'll do the manual labor, whatever. It's fine. Just be here. I just want to be here. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that place, man. I love it.
Yeah. So I will tell you personally, I know you've been and you're fixing to go again. Yeah. I've never been, but it was, it was bucket list, and before everything happened, and now it's even more bucket list. But I have a daughter graduating high school in a week, and
congratulations. That's awesome, man.
Appreciate that. Thank you. It's hard.
By the way, just real quick, before we are done, you can drop it in the chat or text me, whatever. I need your address.
Yeah, absolutely. I need yours too.
I can't send you congratulations cards without your address, and I can't send you bottles of olive oil without that either.
Olive oil. Yeah, olive oil. Because
I heard you're a big olive oil fan, so I wanted to send you some.
I am a big olive oil fan. I love to send olive oil to people all over the country. Yeah. Don't send it to New Zealand because they will not take it. They will throw it away. Ask Jesse from Stillet if he knows that. Anyway, moving on. So anyway, Scotland, obviously it's a bucket list item for everybody. But it's one of those things that obviously I want to do in the near future. Whiskey or no whiskey. I mean, obviously the whiskey is the biggest plus, right? But at the same time, like I feel like even if you're not Scottish, even if you're not even from the area, I'm mainly Polish, right? Do I want to go back to Poland? No, I want to go to Scotland. That's where I want to go because I want to see all of the rolling hills and I want to see the castles and do all the things, right? For my yeah. So like yeah, and then the music and all of the things. Like for Christmas, I think it was last year, my wife got me a hand painted picture of the sea of the port at Oban, I think, and it's hand painted and it's going to be in my whiskey room, and it is so cool. The issue is we got to get it framed. It's like it literally came from the lady, and it's not super big. It's really small. Like it's the coolest thing ever. Like it's a prize thing. I don't even know where it is to think of. Anyway, it's somewhere. I know it's somewhere in the house, but
it's anyway, on the west coast of Scotland.
Yeah, exactly. But it's so cool. And we've already planned our trip, like we know exactly where we're going. Obviously we want to do the whole Scottish trail. We don't just want to be in Islay because my wife is not a whiskey person at all. She doesn't care. She's like, that's okay. But she likes good food. No, she doesn't like alcohol at all, actually.
Okay. So Islay actually has some pretty cool things too that like, besides whiskey, one, they have a rum distillery, which is phenomenal.
Ooh.
They rum. Oh man, it's so funky. I love their rum.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We could talk. I could talk for hours about that, but they have some really cool like historical things. They've got some castles, like ruins, things like that. They've got a wool mill that's been around since before America was discovered.
Yeah. I mean, just the history behind it, right? And then you go, then that makes you want to go to Ireland, right? Then it makes you want to do all of that and just kind of explore that whole area. Go all the way up to the Orkney Islands and visit Highland Park and see all of that because it's a totally different experience, right? Every time, and I've heard of people go every year and they try a different little region, and they just like, we're going to stay in the lowlands, we're going to stay, and it's super cool. Obviously, one of the things very expensive, but also it's you take time away from life but as a parent, as a and we're going to get into the business part of it, as a business owner, as all of the things, right? As a husband, you need time away. As a whiskey dude, right, doing a thing, right, you need time away from that, and you need time to get back to what life is really about. Life is about the exploration, and life is about all of the other parts. Like these are all cool. These are all great, but life is about all the other things that are happening when you think this is important, right? So like going to Scotland is a bucket list item for most people. You go and then you realize why you want to go back. And you can attest to that. Going back again and being like, okay, I knew this was what I wanted to do because I want to stay there. If I could sell everything and just move here, that would be the plan, correct?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So I'm very much with you. Life is about some exploration. I feel for me, life is about service. And one of the things that I see is sometimes service is patronizing the small shops in a village.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah. And you said we're going to talk about the business. For me, business is about service as well. So like, yes, we get paid to do a thing and we do that thing because we get paid. That's like why we start. And then as we grow, we realize that we're providing a service, and the better we provide that service, the better we can provide for our families and for the people that work for us.
Right. Absolutely. And I will tell you, the episode that will air before this
Mhm.
is an episode I did solo about knowing your own worth, right?
Oh,
And that goes for when you're buying whiskey and wanting to get the cool bottles and stuff like that. Like I am one of those ones now, as of recently, probably I don't know, about a year or so, to where I don't buy the bottom shelf bottles. I'm not going to buy your standard basic nothing. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. I'm more into bottles like Brooklotti 18. You know, like I would very much rather. Did you actually have one? Good job, brother. You know, I would very much rather pay the extra money to get a good, great bottle than to buy 40 Penelope bottles, right? Because you see everybody with their backdrop is,
right.
you know,
That wasn't you didn't see that face today.
that wasn't a dig to anybody. Penelope
No,
is great.
look,
MGP
life,
makes
you
good
you
whiskey.
know this better than a lot of people. Life is too short to drink bad whiskey.
You stole that from me.
Yes, I did. So, full disclosure, I do listen to most, if not all, of your podcasts whenever they come out.
I
So,
appreciate that.
long-time listener, first-time caller.
Okay, so I'm not gonna fanboy on that because you're my buddy and I want to think that hopefully most of my friends are listening and that's all the views I get. But at the same time, like my whole thing with all of this from the beginning was to be as transparent in myself and in the whiskey as possible. And that's why, you know, I've reached out to every major distillery that's in the world, literally all of them, from Brooklotti to Whiskey Del Bach, right? Guess who came on? Whiskey Del Bach, right? So it's one of those things.
I love that, man.
Mark is a baller, dude.
Mark, I mean, there's people that know him in the whiskey world, but I know Mark more than because like the distillery is 12 minutes from my house. Mark lives between my house and the distillery. Like he lives literally like around the corner, but I know him from like the business side of things too, because we do work down at the distillery. I have since 2018 or so.
That's awesome.
So like we fixed some steam lines or something, for them or this and that. And so, like he's not just a pretty face in the whiskey community. he's extremely intelligent. He has a degree in marketing, like or maybe has a background in marketing and a degree in journalism. Excuse me.
Okay.
And so like the guy is just like very well rounded. So like, who better to run your distillery than a guy who knows about distilling and brewing, and then can also handle your marketing and handle your communications. Like what a great dude. But then on top of that, like he's cool to just like sit back and grab a beer with, or have a dram.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not only that, but like I feel, and I've talked to him a couple times through email and stuff like that, and then having him on the show, and I need to reach out to him again because I want to do a American Single Malt collab with a bunch of other people. That's breaking news, guys. But like
Tyler
Mark, Mark is one of those.
Tyler on?
Do what?
Have you had Tyler on the show?
Tyler.
He works at Colorado. What are they? Stranahan's.
No. I've reached out to him a number of times.
Tyler specifically, or Stranahan's?
Stranahan's.
Okay,
I haven't reached out to Tyler. Yeah, please do.
Tyler, if you're listening, I'm sorry, and you're welcome.
So
guys, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry,
no. It's all good. It's all good. Mark, to me, when I was talking to him on the show, and even after, we talked for probably 30 minutes after. I should have recorded the whole thing, but I didn't because it got a little bit more personal, and that's what, to me, what affects me the most and what makes me want to continue doing this the most is when the camera stops rolling. We're still talking on the screen, but when the camera stops rolling and it gets a little more real and they talk about things that they're personally struggling with. And when I brought up something about men's mental health, right, because I'm really big on mental health, and he was like, and when I said something in the podcast about it's okay to not be okay, and like that was a huge turning point in my whole life, us having that conversation, which you're talking to a distillery dude. Why would that make that big of a deal? But it is something, it's validation knowing that like we are all broken people and we're just trying to pick up the pieces and figure this life out. And for him to say that it's okay to not be okay, and hurt people, all of those things like that you hear through therapy, and big advocates of therapy and all of these things, it really brings a whole nother side to not only Mark himself, but like what he's trying to put into the glass. He's trying to do the best he can, but with what he's given, not only physically, but materially, and put it in the glass in such a way to where like, this is my heart in a glass. That's what the whole Distiller's Cut was all about. Like this is Mark saying, hey, I'm trying some weird stuff. And this one, especially this spring.
This one right here, especially. So this is like the all Arizona. I don't know if you know that about this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everything that went. All right. So wait, let's talk about that whiskey for a minute.
Go ahead.
Mark, incredibly caring, compassionate, awesome individual. I love the guy. If I met him at a bar, we'd still be friends, even if he didn't make my favorite whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a winery called Page Spring Cellars, and they make a Syrah. I have a bottle of that somewhere in the kitchen or something. There is let's see what else here. There's Arizona White Oak, Quercus Arizonica. They drop some of that into the wine.
Okay.
And then drop that into the I don't think they dropped it into the barrels. I think they dropped it into the stainless steel tote, the 500-gallon stainless tote.
Yeah, the finishing tank.
Yep. There's a company called Twisted Bees, Twisted Bee Farm Honey. Mm-hmm. They do and this is all on the back of the bottle, but they did a barrel collab with them where they took the Dorado barrel. So they took a barrel from this stuff and they let the honey age in that barrel for a period until it was like seeping out of the seams because it dried out. And then they're like, okay, we got to dump that. And then they brought that back, they hydrated it, and then they put some whiskey in there. And that became a part of this blend. They also, there's a brewery called Mother Road up in Flagstaff. And they did an exchange where they took another Dorado barrel and they put their beer in it. A couple barrels. I think it was 2 or 3. And they're 15-gallon barrels. So it was a small batch of beer. And they called that beer Del Camino. I'm going to tell you what, if you like stouts, this was an amazing barrel-aged stout. Like, have you ever had like Goose Island's thing or a Firestone? Yep. This was, oh my God, I bought a growler of it.
Oh, wow.
And like I have, Mother Road has a really nice growler. It's like a stainless steel growler with like you put this on and it's practically hermetically sealed. So it stayed good for a while. Wow. And I sipped on that for the better part of 2 months. And then until it was like funky, and then it was like really good because I'm weird like that.
Well, yeah.
But then they took those barrels back and they aged whiskey in them and then threw that in this blend. And so this ended up being like 3 or 4 different Arizona things from around the state that went into this. And I love the fact that they did all of that. And then not just like open about it like we did this. They're like, these are our partners in this.
Absolutely.
Help us to do this. And that's just Mark, like, again, showcasing other people and elevating them, not himself or this thing, right? And that's why I say he's such a compassionate and caring individual.
Well, and he's like the dude, right? I think of him as the dude. He's the guy where you're like, you need something done, go to Mark. He's going to take care of it. And you want a cool blend, go to Mark. He'll take care of you. And the fact that he was able, because when I heard the release of this from Cumming Whiskey or whatever, and I saw the back label, I was like, what the heck? That's a bunch of weird stuff going together. And when I first got the bottle, thank you so much to Domingo Corona. I don't know if you know Mingo at all, but he's in Tucson as well. And yeah, absolutely. I'll hook you up with him. But he was able to get me a bottle of this, obviously distillery exclusive. How do I have a bottle in Texas? But
that's what I was wondering. Who sent that to you? So,
it was him. It was him. He went to the distillery, picked it up. He was getting a bottle. He picked me up one as well. But the fact that he was able to do all that, get it all together and put it in there and make it so cohesive in a way to where, like, okay, it's not honey finished, but it is. It's not Syrah because you get that wine finish, but it's not. It's not beer finished, but it is. Like, it's all of those things combined together and partially mesquite smoked as well. So, like, there's so much complexity in this to where you could sit down with this, add a drop of water or 2 or 5 or however much you wanted, and it would really just shines. It really does. And the more I sip on it, the more I'm like, now I'm getting this. Now I'm getting, there's so much. And the other cool thing, not to shoehorn ourselves into the Del Bach territory, but they don't really care if it's 2-year, 3-year, 7-year, 12-year. They're just like, it's good whiskey. We're going to pull it right now. And that's where I think a lot of us need to be. Yeah.
11 to 13 months on average.
Right. And they did a release.
No caramel coloring. 11 to 13 months. Number 3 char, 15-gallon white oak.
They did a release with Lost Lantern. That was an 11-month-old whiskey. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, who releases an 11-month? Yeah.
Now, here's a funny story about this whiskey. You want to hear it?
Absolutely.
All right. So I have the flask over on my desk. This is not where my desk is for my business.
Mm-hmm.
I would never get any work done. I have a flask on my desk, and it's just got it's a clear flask with a white sticker and a handwritten flame. And I was in Texas in 23 for the Bastards Ball.
Okay.
And I think it was 2023. Yeah. And so I'm up at the tower after the ball hanging out, and I think Nora has this bottle sitting there, and I was like, hey, that's the flame. I saw you had that downstairs. There's a little bit left. Can I try it? And she's like, yeah, there's only a little bit left, so you can just take it. And I was like, perfect. Put that in my back pocket. I knew what it was. And so I come home from that, and I immediately go down to Del Bach, and I was like, hey, Mark, have you seen this? And he's like, what's that? I was like, it's called Flame. And he's like, what? How did you know what that is? How did you get that? He's like, I haven't even had that yet. So I had there was like maybe this much in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I shared it with Mark and Steven and Jana. Mm-hmm. So Mark is the distiller. Steven is a co-founder with his daughter, Amanda. And then Jana is like Mark does all the things inside. She does all the things outside.
Right.
And so Jana's an awesome human being, and we love her. She just got us tickets to Brew in the Zoo last weekend, and that was
wow. Awesome.
But yeah, so I was able to share that with the three of them, and we sat down and tried a little teats of it. And he was like, man, how did you do that? I was like, yes, you just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm standing by Nora. Like, can I have the rest of that? Cool. I'm going to go give it to Mark. Why not? Why wouldn't you do that?
Right. I asked her if I could have it. She said, yeah. I says, I'm not being selfish. I'm actually going to share this with Mark. And she's like, you know, Mark? I was like, yeah, I know Mark.
Yeah. Well, and okay, that gets us back to the business part that I wanted to talk about. And we're, 54 minutes in already. But like, okay, you being in HVAC, I'm in plumbing. They're very similar, but they're very different at the same time. In Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, you're allowed to do some plumbing, correct?
Yeah, so obviously we can handle condensation lines and stuff like that, but we go a little bit deeper with a CR39, the license that I have,
Hmm.
commercial residential 39. We can handle water treatment equipment. We can handle water heaters, water softeners with that, RO systems. So we can. It's vague on water treatment equipment because it's part of the C, not part of the R, commercial residential. But it
Right.
doesn't differentiate it when you read the whole blurb together. So we
Right.
do a ton of water treatment equipment. At one point, we were doing probably 2 a day for Culligan.
Oh,
We were
wow.
partnered with them for a while, so we were doing two a day water softeners, which got us 2 customers a day that we could market air conditioning to.
That's, I
Um,
mean,
but yeah, so in the cool, so we can also do fuel gas lines. We can do and commercial and residential. We can also get into a little bit of electrical, so we can run circuits for air conditioning equipment. I can't go install a panel or
right.
like wire a house, but I mean, we kind of do all of the things. Sometimes I have to cut holes on roofs and seal that. So like we know how to do a lot of things in HVAC, and so that's why I always say if it was easy, it'd be plumbing. But
Shots
you know,
fired.
it's air conditioning. Well, I would just like to point out that before this started, Randall made some very severe accusations, and
Lies and collusion.
I actually recorded those on my phone while you weren't looking. No.
Oh,
No,
so
I
so
mean, hey, listen, at the end of the day, plumbers, HVAC, we get along just fine because we both
we
hate
do.
electricians.
Absolutely. Electricians, they're just too busy holding hands all day. Yeah.
And not sweeping up their mess.
Not sweeping up their mess.
They're
Absolutely.
too busy
So,
not running a broom.
so I will tell you, you're part of, and I don't know if you still are, and tell me if you're not. On the plumber side, it's called PSI. Are you still a part of the Success International?
As of 2023, we are not.
Okay.
Um,
So here's
Are
the
you?
thing. And no, absolutely not.
Oh,
So
okay.
one of the things, I was with a business before I started my own business that was,
Okay.
and they were doing HVAC and plumbing, and
Okay.
it was really, I got to see a different side of it, right? Because it's with that, and for lack of a better terms, and you can probably speak on this a little more than I can. It is basically a sales technique of how to get more sales and generate more revenue for your company by upselling things and making it. I'm not saying it's not something the customer doesn't need, but at the same time, it just helps you generate more revenue with inspections and things like that, and Diamond Club memberships and all of the thing. And when I was with that said company for, oh, good Lord, this is going to show my age. I think it was 2012, 2011. I was the number one in sales in Texas. Just say it.
Good for you.
Just say it.
So
Now, I will tell you now, as my plumbing company, I am number 7,347,000. So just to let you know,
in Texas.
in Texas. Absolutely.
So I definitely can speak on that. So there are, and I mean, this can be within any organization.
Mm,
There's absolutely people who will abuse a program or a system and sell things to people that they don't want or need.
mm,
There's absolutely going to be that because there's sometimes it's ownership, sometimes it's individual, sometimes it's individual managers, right? Like a service manager or something like that. Um, I I credit them with helping me get over a big hurdle,
amen.
right? Like getting me from like kind of sitting right around the one helper, two employee mark to having a team and being able because there's more to those programs and those organizations than teaching you how to sell.
Right. Right.
Um, I had to kind of overcome some of that myself and realize that one of my sales trainers taught me nothing happens until a sale happens.
Right.
And so when you're in business, you have to sell things. And in fact, I'm actually working with a company with Wizard Academy the wizard of ads. They're helping
Mhm.
us to write, they're writing ads for us. And one of the
Okay.
things that they brought up the other day was, then they wrote an ad about it, and basically said, hey, like, we have to pay for these highly trained technicians, so we do have to sell stuff. Like, at the end of the day, like, sales have to happen, but we don't have to do it in a sleazy way.
No.
We don't have to do it in a dishonest way. We can do it in a way that we can be proud at the end of the day. Not proud of how much money we made, but proud of the service that we provided.
Absolutely.
And so, to build out, I'll be honest, man, when I was new in business, I hired a guy that I felt was really good for my company, and he was. And he was a friend of mine. We're still friendly. He doesn't work for me anymore, and it's not his fault.
Right.
It's mine. And I've talked about this a number of times, and I've actually coached a few people over the years to help them get over some hurdles in business. Something I said to him was, "You're here to make my life easier." And I said that at a time when he was asking if he could go home at a reasonable hour, like 6 instead of 8 p.m.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, dude, like, I'm still here. You're here to make my life easier. And what, you're going to go home and I'm just going to be here by myself? He quit pretty shortly after that. Actually, no, I take that back. He quit a while after that, but that was the day that he started to look for something else. I guarantee that was the day. He hasn't said that, but I know it was the day. Like, and I look back at that and I'm like, I feel like such a scumbag for having ever thought that.
Yep.
And when I look back at that, I realize, like, when I hired my first employee, let me step back a second. So I built this business on customer service. I already mentioned that. Service, I believe in service.
Amen.
All aspects of life. And when I built my business, I built it on customer service. That's our first core value. When I hired my first employee, my customer changed from being Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner to now little Johnny that I hired off, that works for me, or my friend, or whoever works for me. That's my customer. That's who I serve now. So PSI, SGI, now it's Certain Path. They actually taught me that. That's where I learned that from. And one of the things that they talk about is there are 3 wins that happen in business for a company to be successful, right? Customers get a win, companies win, and employees win. And they asked me that question when I was like doing my kind of onboarding with them, and they're like, who comes first? And I was like, well, the customer, of course. Nope. They're like, the customer does not come first. No, the employee comes first.
Okay. Makes sense.
If the employee is not winning, they will not take care of your clients. It's that simple. If they don't love what they're doing day in and day out and love who they're doing it for, you're never going to win. You're never going to get ahead. And when I started to realize that, and I accepted that and made that my mission and my vision, to build a team that cares as much as I do about our customers. And realistically, I think I've changed that now to building a team that cares as much about our customers as I do about the team.
Wow. And I can put that in motion in myself by what you're saying, just kind of dinging off that, because I'm self-employed and I'm a one-person shop. I work for myself, by myself. I need to put as much care into myself as I do my clients. Yep. And if I did that, guess what? I'm working half a day on Friday. Guess what? I'm coming in at 10 o'clock. Guess what? I'm still taking care of everybody who needs to be taken care of, but I'm also taking care of myself. I'm able to go do the things that I need to do with my family and myself, and, have those days where I'm like, this is a mental health day. I'm going to take it for myself, and my clients understand that, and they're willing to I understand emergencies are emergencies. Call somebody else. I get it. But like and then you build that I don't want to say fan base, but you build that base of clients that is there for you and your company no matter what. And I've had so many, and this is why I'm glad I'm talking to you. I've had so many clients come up to me and say, "You're not charging me enough because you're worth way more than this. Because you come here, you fix my problem, but not only that, you give me a sense of peace when you come here, saying, not only am I going to fix your problem and I'm going to fix your day, I'm gonna pick up your newspaper when I walk up to the house. I'm gonna do all of these extra things that you wouldn't even think of, that I don't even think of, that I just do being a steward, like you're saying, being a service person. These are just things that we do as good humans, right? Like I want everybody to be better than me, but I need to understand that, like, if I don't treat myself with some respect, which is know your worth, right? My show I did last week, like if I don't treat myself with respect and understand my own worth in all of this, it's futile. We are literally, fighting windmills, like Don Quixote, you know what I mean? Like it all back to that.
And then you burn out. And then, it's like, I don't remember if it was you said it recently or another, because I listened to a few business podcasts too. And they were like, why do they give you the instruction to put your own oxygen mask on first?
Because you need to be alive to help somebody else.
Help the person next to you if you passed out from lack of oxygen.
Absolutely.
How am I going to help you with your? So and that goes a little bit further too. Like when you think about knowing your worth, you talk about value or worth. That can be a monetary thing too. If you love the service that I provide, do you do tankless water heaters?
Amen.
Okay. If I don't charge you enough money to put in this tankless water heater and I go out of business in 2 years, how are you going to capitalize on that 10-year warranty on the tankless right. on the heat exchanger? Yep. I'm out of business. What am I going to do for you?
Yep.
Right. And no throwing shade, but I see smaller businesses go out of business all the time. And then what happens to their client base? Right. They unintentionally screwed their customer with a cheap price.
Yep. So if you don't put enough revenue in there to cover you and to cover your maintenance and warranty on that, then how can you rightfully go forward? Like I will say this, when I started my company, it was basically to prove everybody wrong, because this guy said I couldn't do it. This guy screwed me out of a bunch of money, all of the things. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to show you guys. I can do it. And I've been in business for 12 years. It's been great. I'm not going to lie. But then the whole reason I had the podcast that we just talked about was I got approached by another company that wants to buy me out. Where do you go there? And then you have to put on paper what your company is worth. Not how much money you're making, because that can change. Not your clientele, because guess what? They're going to call the next schmo that comes up if you're not in the field, because they want me to be their manager, right? Their manager. And so it turns into a thing like, how much are you personally worth with the time, money, and energies, blood, sweat, and tears that you put into your business? How much are you worth? And it really hit me, and it totally changed my expectations of everything that I thought about myself, not only myself, but my company, my worth, period. And I think everybody needs to put themselves on paper and be like, I do this, and not in a prideful way, not in a, narcissistic way, but in a way of like, I've been in this business for this long, doing it this way. I am very proud of my work. I make sure that everything's done according to code and all of the things, and then put that on paper and see if your pay scale matches your worth scale. And if it doesn't, why doesn't it? And as of right now in my business, it doesn't match. I need to go up. And it makes me feel good, But at the same time, it's like, and all of my clients, guess what? They, like I said earlier, they've been telling me, you need to go up. You need to charge me more. You're worth more than this. So it just becomes a point of like, go ahead.
I have that conversation with, so right now I'm not actively working as a coach, like in a paid manner. I had in the past. And so my business, and I'm not like some great business genius. I stand on the backs of giants and shout the messages that they're saying.
Amen. Amen.
But I have jumped over quite a few hurdles. I have climbed over them like and dealt with so many problems. And if I can help somebody else get over a hurdle earlier or not have to go, like maybe they can go around it. That's what I'm trying to do for people. That's what I've done. I grew my business to 7 figures and we're happy with revenue and profit and things like that. And so I'm helping other people who are around the $100,000 to $300,000 mark hit the 7-figure mark, right? And become and then have double-digit profit as well, and do it in a way that again they can feel honest and proud of what they're doing, and they can their people can feel proud of the things that they're doing, and they can sleep easy, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I have done is I have helped people to understand when it's time to raise prices and how to come up with numbers that make sense so that you actually turn a profit at the end of a week. I mean, Randall, we've both been there where we finished a week and we're like, man, we did so much work. We were so busy. And then you look at the bank and you're like, what happened?
Yeah. I have $3. What is going on?
Or worse, you're a one-man show. It's even worse when you're like, I have $3 to show for the work I did, and I still haven't run payroll.
Yeah, and I still haven't.
What do I do? And so you go sell a liver on eBay, blackmarket.com, and you make payroll somehow, or you take one of these cash advance loans and
oh God, please don't.
Yeah, and so it's like. That's something I was really passionate about. I'm still passionate about seeing people succeed. I just, we had some things change in our business with some staff that weren't fully aligned with where we were trying to go. And so we had to remove them, good people, not bad people, just not good for our business. Like we weren't a good fix, a good fit. And what happened with each of those people is when we let them go, they found the thing that they were passionate about and they went and did that and they were happier people.
Amen. And
so I was happy for them in that regard. But yeah, helping other people as a coach was really fulfilling. I want to do it again in the future. If you're open and you want to talk valuation and how to do that, I'm happy to have that conversation. We can do that live. We can do that later, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are like, you should get this much X times your whether it's this thing or that thing. And that isn't always the case.
No, it's not. It's not.
And so, sometimes there's hidden value. Sometimes there's overvalue. Like we think we're worth this, but we're actually like, and so it can be a really difficult thing, especially when it's something you built from the ground up. Don't get discouraged because somebody walks in and says, hey, because you are the only thing day to day. And if you go away, it all goes away. Well, that's not true. Like you're not buying a book of business. And because I've got a good friend here who's a plumber. And he wants to get out and get into general contracting, which is even like crazier than what he's doing. I don't.
Yeah. Like, why would you want to do that?
I love the guy, but like, it's crazy. He's got a few other things that he wants to do, dreams he wants to pursue and chase and whatever. And that's fine for him. But he reached out to me and was like, would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if what you want and what it's worth are aligned. And that doesn't mean that I think less of him. But when you look at the business itself, what that business is truly worth to somebody else who can't run as an owner. I can't go and I don't have the relationship with his clients.
Right.
He does. And so immediately, probably, and this is a pretty average case, 50% of those clients evaporate.
Absolutely.
Right. And then in addition to that, a lot of those clients I'll never hear from again. Right. They were one-time clients. They're not like you mentioned the Diamond Club. They're not members that I'm going to see all the time.
Absolutely.
And so it's difficult to put a value on that without like offending somebody sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, like know your worth, but also know what you've built. And like for me, and I'm being 100% transparent. I have felt guilty putting things in the company name. So I would put them in my own name. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, as of right now, I'm like, I have no collateral in the business. So when I go, if I were to go sell my business, it's literally the name, you know? And I'm like, okay, how did that make any sense or any money? You know what I mean? Like, why is everything not ran through the business and used as a write-off for the business? No, you're just sitting here trying to chip away at a rock that's already broken. Like so it becomes a act of contrition to where you're like, you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, but then at the same time you change one thing and it's totally changed the whole outcome of everything. So where do you get with that point? And okay, and this is my follow-up to the last question. Where do you see yourself, not only your company, but yourself in the future? Like, I know you've been stepping away from the mentoring, quote unquote, mentoring role, but want to get back into it possibly if you want to. And then your business is doing great, but there's always markers that you could see higher. And then personally, obviously stepping back a little more, having a little more time for family, doing all of those. Where do you see all of that going in the near future?
Yeah, I love that question. So in the near future, I actually want to get back into mentoring. And I saw it right now. I'm not a paid coach.
Right.
I'm mentoring 3 businesses. So one of them is a really good friend of mine who actually used to work for me. He graduated high school in 2016, and in the summer between his junior and senior year, and between his sophomore and junior year, he actually came and worked for us as an intern, and we hired him fresh out of high school. So he graduated high school with a job in air conditioning.
Oh, wow.
Having like right. So we worked our butts off, he and I both, to get him a grant so that he could do school the next semester and get go to school 2 days a week doing like a local VOTEC school for air conditioning. And he was going to learn the practical application. By the time we finished summer, he knew more than he was going to learn for 2 years at school.
Right.
And that's not me dogging school. Like, I think VOTEC school is absolutely necessary for people who don't have the opportunity, that don't know the owner of a business and can go and work for a summer, right? I think schools are a necessary thing. I think they might be able to do better if they got better instructors and better funding. That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he started a handyman business a few years ago. He quit working for us. Ultimately, we had some bad actors on our team that kind of drove him away, and I didn't realize it till after he was gone.
That sucks.
It does, because I think he would be doing amazing right now and making a lot more money working for us than than doing what he's doing now.
Right.
But he has the potential to make a lot of money and be really successful. And I'm helping him with the mindset of even handymen have to sell their services. Like, that has to be sold. You can't replace somebody's bathroom or upgrade somebody's bathroom until you sold them on you doing the actual job. And
Absolutely.
so we're teaching him those communication skills. I'm working with him to do those things. I plug him on Nextdoor and everything I can because I think
Mhm.
that he is the best option for anybody who's looking for any work. He does
Right.
all of our stuff, and we refer him to every customer that
That's
asks.
awesome.
We got to cut a hole in a wall or a ceiling. He's the one who's fixing it, guaranteed.
Wow. That's awesome.
And then I've got a friend who's got a pool business, and he's 2.5, 3 years in, and we're working with him. I work with him every day on mindset, and he's got his couple of employees now, and we're working with him to get the mindset right on having employees because sometimes when you have been a one-man show and having your employee for the first time and they don't know how to do everything that you do from day one is frustrating.
Yeah.
And I've got 3 people that work for us right now that are trainees. One's been around for about 6.5, 7 months. One of them graduated from a tech school in South Carolina, and this is his first job in the industry. And then I've got another guy that he worked at a restaurant before he worked for us, and he's 2 months in, and he's going to be my lead installer soon. Like he is dialed in, like he's learning.
He gets it.
He's getting it. And so I'm working with them. And so I've got my buddy with the pool business that is like, I don't get why these guys don't get it. I'm like, dude, they're not owners. They're not thinking like owners. They're never going to think like owners until they own their own thing. It's just not going to happen. And so you have to remember what it was like when you worked at the grocery store and you were like working in the vegetable department, and they dumped a bunch of work on you 10 minutes before your shift. What'd you do? You bailed at the end of your shift, and all that produce went rotten.
Yep.
And they're like, why don't you get it, man? Why aren't you doing that? Like you had to take care of this produce. He's like, we could have just put it in the fridge and I could deal with it tomorrow.
Mm.
Right. And so, this pool went green because that guy went home.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the thing. Like, put off for tomorrow what you don't want to do today. I mean, that's just the lifestyle of that we live in right now. And it's sad. And like for people like I feel like you're the same way, where we want the best product. We want to try and put we will put the long hours in to get the job done and do all of the things. But at the same time, it's like, how much manpower do I have to get done to get this job done? Like it turns into a thing after a while where you're like, okay,
problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, this is a net zero or a net negative, actually. Like, what am I even doing? We should have left a long time ago. So that's where I feel like a lot of companies are struggling.
So that happened today. The job that we were at today. I mentioned that you asked what I had for dinner, and I said despair. Mm-hmm. We were on a job until I was there until around 4, give or take 4 o'clock. Mm-hmm. So we're 2 hours behind you right now. So we started this at 5 p.m. I got home at a little after 4:30. I took a shower. I straightened my beard, and I wanted to be presentable because like when you're on the radio, like you want to look good.
Yeah.
So, I got home a lot later than I anticipated. I thought we'd be done around 11:30 today.
Oh god!
Like if I was there with my lead installer, we would have been done at 11:30. It was closer to 5 o'clock when that team rolled out. Now, these are 2 technicians that are brand new to the industry and have been doing this for all of 2 months. The fact that they did all of the things and the job looks beautiful.
Okay. That's all that matters.
That's what I care about. The customer's happy. The job looks good. And they learned how to do the job and provide the quality.
Right.
The thing that I've been teaching my other friend that I'm mentoring is we have to go slow before we can go fast.
Absolutely. And we have to go. We just have to go. Let's just go for a little bit. Yeah.
And so a job that could have been done at 11:30 it took almost 5 hours, 5.5 hours longer than than what I would have anticipated. And I didn't put that money in the budget for that job to take longer because
Amen.
that's not fair to the customer.
Right.
But that's an investment in those two young men that will be better in the future.
And they saw that, like, man, this is taking us a while. So
Because
they
they-
probably saw that and they were
Yeah.
like, oh gosh, we're gonna get in trouble. We're gonna blah blah blah. We're, and then when you come back and be like, you did a great job.
I
You
was
know,
there
it's
with them all day.
Absolutely. And that's
I
the
was,
thing. Like,
I
we're
was in and out of the
gonna
truck because I had other meetings that I went on, but
Right.
on Zoom. But like I was in and out of the job. Like I was in my truck and then I was on the roof and back and forth several times. That's why I'm
Right.
so red today.
Yeah. No, I see that. I see that. You're a little
Yeah.
red.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, no, they didn't feel like there was like, I'm going to get in trouble. What they felt was maybe some pressure to make sure that they did a good job because they knew I'm watching.
Yeah.
Not watching, like standing over, like, you guys doing that right? You doing
Yeah.
that right? Are you doing that right? Are you doing that right? But they knew I'm coming back to look, so they know they're going to do a good job. They never know when I'm going to pop in and just say, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Right. I was there all day. It didn't frustrate me that they were taking longer. I knew that was gonna be a thing. And so as an owner, when you have employees, you can't expect them to do what you do.
Absolutely.
You can't. And honestly, if you got a guy working for you or a gal, because we have a nice a young lady that works for us as a technician, and she's absolutely like just killing it.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
If you have somebody working for you, and they're doing 70, 80% of what you would do, that's a win.
Absolutely.
That's a win. And anybody who doesn't see it that way has unreasonable expectations.
Right. You're right. You're right. And because when you look at it this, yeah, I know. When you look at it from your perspective, like, I have like over 25 years in the plumbing business. So like, I've been doing it for a minute. I know what I'm doing. I expect certain things, but yet even on my jobs, I'm like, that didn't go the way I wanted it to do. I spent 2 hours longer on that job than I should have. And I hold myself accountable for those things, let alone somebody who is 2-3 months into the business. How can you hold them to the standard of you when they don't have the experience or the knowledge or any of the things, but yet they have the willingness to try and they keep going back to it and they keep doing the right thing? I don't know. There's something to be said about that.
That's it right there. If they're giving the effort, if they're putting forth the effort, right? Yeah. So there are, it's important for me to put this out there. Everybody that works for us right now, and it's not a huge company, there are 4 technicians in the field.
Right.
But everybody that works for us right now never did air conditioning before they worked for us.
Oh, wow.
Okay. One was he worked in an apartment complex and he was like a maintenance / handyman.
Right.
One worked in an office and she worked on a farm before when she lived in Ohio. And so I knew she knew how to work. But she worked as a receptionist and that's what she had done most recently. One guy is literally 20 years old. This is his first like real job that isn't fast food.
Okay.
And then one guy worked in the restaurant industry for the last half a decade. And before that worked as a, he told me like a river guide, I think, out in Colorado.
Oh, wow.
Like, so, but all these, and you know what the average age of a technician is in our company right now?
What?
26. People that say kids these days and young people don't want to work, what they mean is young people don't want to work for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big thing for me when I was coaching. I hear people say all the time when I was coaching folks, and they, people just nobody wants to work anymore. And I was like, that just simply isn't true, because I put an ad out and I tell people what the job looks like. And then I talk to them on the phone and they're beating down the door. Right now, if I needed to hire somebody, I could go to my list of resumes and I could hire one of 15 people.
Yep.
That tomorrow I'd get somebody that wants to come and work, because we cultivated an amazing culture that people want to be here. So young people want to work, but they don't want to waste their time.
Yeah.
They want to know that the place where they're going to work is going to take care of them.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about dollars. No. Young people value their time with their friends. Absolutely.
It's like, am I truly getting off at 5 o'clock, or are you just saying that? Like that's the other thing.
And here's the thing is, they understand too that there are going to be days where we work until 10 o'clock.
Right. Absolutely.
But you're going to be compensated for that, not just in money, but like you gave to the customer their appreciation. We show appreciation in other ways. We take time. We actually close the company like 3 or 4 times a year, and we have parties with the team and or with the team and their family. Right. So like our beginning of summer, we throw a party for the team. So Scarlett is actually planning that right now. So when we get back from Scotland, we're going to have a party with our team. So those 4 technicians, we're going to shut the company down that day. If there's any like emergency calls, I will go run them, and they get the party.
There you go.
Okay. Then at the end of summer, we throw a thank you for lending us your family for summer. And we throw an end of summer party, and we invite the entire family. Everybody gets to come, and we hang out. We've done things like gone to, I don't know if you heard of Main Event. It's like a Dave and Buster's.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So we've done things like that. We've gone we took the whole company out to a PBR event. Like we try to have just like we went to an ice hockey game, a local team ice hockey. There is hockey in the desert. Yes, I know it's crazy, but it happens. And so like we celebrate our team. Like we want it. Like another thing we do, show recognition. So one of our core values is accountability. Okay, and we hold you accountable to the thing. We hold you accountable for doing that. But I feel that this is accountability, but accountability isn't the whole thing. The other, what is on the other side of this? The other side of that is recognition.
Yes.
We have to recognize you for holding yourself accountable.
Yes.
You showed up, you did the thing, and you did it right, and you held yourself accountable for maybe when you didn't, and we recognize it. So an employee gets a 5-star review. As soon as we see that, it gets screenshot, it gets sent to the team. Let's all give so-and-so some praise for the 5-star review. Amen. On top of that, at the beginning of the next month, any 5-star review that anybody got, that's $10. We write them a check. No taxes. We just need the tax.
Right.
So we give them a bonus. Every 5-star review is a $10, plus they get a shout out in front of the entire team.
Right.
Right. So there are things that we do that are not just monetary, but we show them that we value what they're doing more than just like some dollars. Right. But we also pay our people well. Right. Like I've got a guy that's been with us now. He's coming up on year 5 in August, and that guy is 27, and he made 6 figures last year. You know. He worked his butt off. He made it happen. Right. And yeah, I mean he crushed it last year. Now he's our field supervisor. So he has an actual title. Right. It came with a decent raise, and you know, even without the other bonuses and things that he's earned, like he'll still hit 6 figures this year. But I mean, we want to take care of our people. You know, we want to. So that's the thing. Nobody wants to work. No, nobody wants to work for your crappy company in your piss poor culture. That's what it is. And I called a guy out in a coaching meeting, and I was like, I'm probably, because I worked for a company. Do you use House Call Pro?
No.
No, what do you use for invoicing?
Absolutely. QuickBooks, literally.
All right, we're going to fix that.
Okay.
We're going to streamline your process, and that will make you more money without having to hire somebody. But
that'd be great.
So
But anyway,
House Call Pro bought an organization called Conquer and hired coaches to blow it up and make it bigger. I worked for them, and I told a guy in a meeting with 3 other companies in the room. I was like, it's not that nobody wants to work. It's that nobody wants to work for you. I said, describe the culture where you work. What culture is what people do when you're not there?
right.
Describe to me what people do when you're not around. He's like, well, shoot, this guy this and that guy that and this guy this. And I was like, yeah, because they don't respect what you're building. What are you building? What is your goal for what are you trying to do this year? He's like, well, we're trying to do this in revenue. I was like, that's not what I'm asking. I mean, what are you trying to do this year for your people, for your team, for your family? What are you trying to do? And he couldn't answer that.
Yep.
And you know what? He turned it around quite a bit. He's done a lot better. That's not like that's accountability.
Yeah.
You know, you hold somebody accountable and then recognize them when they do good. That's a big part of culture right there.
Well, and it's a big part of business, right? Because it's like we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to make money to feed our family, to have a nice steak when we can afford it, all the things, like we're all trying to do the thing, but it's like there's some people that are trying to take advantage of it and some people that are busting their ass trying to get it and trying to make it. And you see that and you want to reward the people that are trying to do the best and not discredit the other people, but also hold everybody, like you're saying, hold everybody accountable for what they're doing. The reason you're not being successful is because you're being very narcissistic or whatever, and you need to reel that in or whatever. And that's the whole thing with all of this is like just keeping a very level head with all of it and making sure that you're also keeping the customer as a top priority. Maybe not number one, but keeping them as a top priority. Keep your customers and your employees or whoever is there as number one, and just making sure that the product, and that goes for whiskey distillers and all of the things, because I feel like a lot of distilleries have looked past the actual customer as well. And we're not going to get into that because we don't have the time, but like a lot of distilleries
I will say one thing about that. Gosh, I don't know which number it was, 18347, something like that. May 2nd, the May 2nd podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about the Brown Foreman and now Sazerac coming in and wanting to, you know what the crazy thing is? I was just at Buffalo Trace last summer.
Okay.
I didn't see one person that worked there who didn't look like they were absolutely thrilled to be there.
Amen.
There's a reason they just did a multi-billion-dollar expansion and could afford it. And it's not because they sold people well. Bingo. They treat their people like freaking rock stars.
Yep.
And that right there is the reason why they are as successful as they are. It's not because they make good whiskey. They make average whiskey that they inflated prices on. You know, I mean, yeah, okay, so I've got a 3-stack of Blantons right there. Whatever. Those were because I wanted honest to God, I have my first bottle of Blantons that I ever got.
Get it.
Was because this was part of the package.
Oh, Ezra Brooks? Really?
Yes. I'm gonna send you a small sample of this olive oil right here. Okay, this is better than that every single day of the week times 10.
I'm sure it is.
It's a 53.5% ABV. I don't even think there's any. I don't think there's any age statement on this.
No, I think it's like 5-year.
I would be surprised if it was older than 4. It's a sour mash. It's charcoal mellowed. Dude, it's so good. It's cheap bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't get this unless I bought the damn package that came with the Blantons, the friggin' horsey topper. And I was like, you know what? I don't even have a Blanton's. I might as well. And so now I have it, and I have three of them, three different packages. One of them I got because I wanted a Kilhoman. It was the special edition Kilhoman and Burrick, which means the best.
Mm-hmm.
This was a fun bottle, but I couldn't get this unless I bought another Blanton's package.
Oh, like you just going ham on Blanton's.
I have 3 damn bottles of Blanton's that are $50 bottles, so I could buy this, and I don't remember what else came with it, but it was like, yeah, I guess I'll take the hit if I have to buy the Blanton's to get the, because of package deals.
Yeah.
And I told the guy that, and he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, like I have to get the Blanton so I can get this bottle of Ezra Brooks. And he was like, what? He didn't get it, and he thought I was joking. And I was like, seriously, if anybody else wants this bottle of Blanton's, like I think it sells for $55. I can't sell it to you here because he'll yell at me. But if you want it, let me know. Like, and everyone thought I was joking, and nobody hit. Absolutely. They would have gotten a bottle of Blanton's for $55, and I would have got my bottle of Ezra Brooks for whatever the difference was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lord. I mean, and that's, man, that brings up a whole nother topic that we don't have time to get into, but I can't even understand like the whiskey market right now, because I'm trying to really understand it and trying to get where everybody's coming from. And it's the Wild Wild West, really. It is. Everything is crazy. I mean, there's so many bottles that are going for way over what they should, but then there's other bottles that are really good that probably should be more expensive, but they're not. It's literally chaos out there. But at the same time, like, we know as whiskey aficionados, we know which ones to hit and which ones to kind of push to the side. And everybody has a different palate. Everybody has a different taste profile. Like, some people like, to me, I'm more towards the rye whiskey, American single malt, Scotch. I do like bourbon. Don't get me wrong. I do like it. But if I like a bourbon, it's more like craft bourbon or something that's obscure that I've never had, like a oated bourbon or something like that. So,
I'd love to try. I'm so excited for the HDA right now. Yes. And I know you were talking about that, and we don't want to get into that, but dude, I think, who was it? One of the other somms, I forget his name off the top of my head now because we're trying to think. In Somm 2, he sat directly behind us.
Scott Thompson.
To the left. Like directly behind me. The Kansas City boy.
Oh,
gosh, I'm gonna feel so stupid because I'm gonna remember his name. The Trash Panda.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Patterson.
Yeah. Yes,
Patterson. Yeah. I need to check in on him.
Me too.
It's been a minute.
I don't remember where I was going with this, but I missed that guy. And so, here's to that guy.
Cheers.
Anyways.
All right.
I was going to say, you mentioned rye. This is from Brickbody.
Okay.
This is a rye.
Okay.
So if you remember, rye is one of those grains that you could throw on the ground and it will sprout out anywhere.
Pretty much.
In the middle of the road. So they grew this there. Wasn't my favorite. It's definitely funky, but it's not the worst thing I've had. That is right there. That's the worst thing I've ever had. But this is interesting. So rye, I'm putting stuff aside that I'm going to send you. Like,
please do.
You're going to, for this one, you're probably going to be like, thanks a lot. No, here's the thing. Thanks. I'm going to have to drink a lot of water to get this flavor.
I love different, unique, sometimes weird. I'm not chasing approachable. I'm not chasing Pappy. I'm not chasing any of those things. What I'm chasing is like, how different can you be? Like, when Corsair came out with their quinoa whiskey and all of those things, like let's go, right? Like I want to try the different, the weird, I know that Lost Lantern is really coming out with some really cool stuff. I just got the bottle. It's literally right here behind me. It's it's a Maine whiskey, Maine bourbon that the secondary grain is oats. And I cannot wait to get it. I haven't even opened it yet. I cannot wait to get into it. It's from Hard Shore, I think is what it's called. Anyway, and we are going to Maine. That's that's my daughter's graduation present. We are going flying into Boston, driving up to Maine, doing all the, Nantucket thingies up there. And I'm going to try to go to that distillery and do a little thingy there if I can. That's the whole thing. But
you going into Boston?
When?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. 17th, 16th of June.
Okay. Are you going to have enough time to catch a baseball game?
We are going to go see the Red Sox at Fenway.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now.
With the Blue, I think they're going against the Blue Jays, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I don't even care about baseball. I just
I don't either. I know nothing about it.
I don't get me wrong. I like I don't follow the sports ball at all. Okay. I don't have time. We're business owners. But honestly, so going to Fenway and watching a game is one of the most electrifying experiences, like second to being like actually electrocuted.
Yeah.
Sitting out in the outfield or sitting in the like down close to first base, whatever. It doesn't matter where you are. You're sitting in the green monster.
That's where my son wanted to go. I'm like, I'm not spending $3,000 a ticket to go sit on the bus. I'm sorry.
No,
we're not doing that.
Seriously though, get the clam chowder.
Oh, absolutely.
And like having the clam chowder and maybe a beer if you're so inclined at Fenway is probably one of the most iconic experiences. And there's a bar down the road that's like 400 years old. And my wife's a big, she went to Boston when she was like just graduated high school, maybe a little after. Like that was like an experience that she got, and she fell in love with the area. So she's a Patriots fan. And yeah, sorry. Let me get something better in my mouth. And also happens to be a Red Sox fan, but yeah, she was a big Boston fan, and so we went out there once or twice, and twice now. But there's a bar that's down the street, and I mean, there's a bunch of bars that are like 200 years old. There's one that's like one of the first bars in America, and we sat there and watched a football game and drank beer and ate chowder and just had like a great time, man. Like. So it's funny because you mentioned, the somm community and how amazing they are. And it's true. It's a very, very tight knit community.
It is.
But it's true. I feel, and tell me what you think. I think that's also true of the whiskey community.
Amen.
And I don't know that I can say that about the rum community or the tequila community. I don't, and I'm not saying it's not true. I can't personally speak on it because I'm not a part of that.
Right.
But I'll give you an example. In 2022, we went out to Scotland and I bought, or 2024. When was it? 2024.
Okay.
I bought more bottles than I reasonably should have.
Okay. That happens.
I had more than I could fit into 3 suitcases.
Okay, that's a lot, but okay.
And I went to a place and I was like, "Hey, do you guys ship bottles?" And the guy behind the counter was like, "Oh yeah, we do it all the time." So what I discovered was that DHL, DHS is Department of Homeland Security. DHL
Not them.
Well, there's acronyms for days over here, man. Like, yeah. DHL will ship bottles all over the UK and Europe, and I can send, if I live in Europe or England or Scotland, I can send bottles to my brother in Germany, and nobody bats an eye. They're like, yeah, we do it all the time. They don't, however, send bottles to the United States unless the person shipping has special license. Me, just being average Joe Schmo who happens to like whiskey, don't have a special license. So I put on the shipping label the address of the hotel that I'm staying at the night before we leave Scotland. I guess this was 2022. And I ended up with 2 boxes of whiskey being sent back to the hotel that I stayed at before we left Scotland. And getting a message from somebody in Kentucky from I don't know what department, some department, asking for my special license. And I was like, I don't have one of those. So I reach out to the whiskey community. I reach out to a group called the Friends of the Water of Life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great film by Greg. Him and his team made an amazing film. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, I highly recommend you do.
Amen.
And they say, hey, there's a guy that lives in Edinburgh where your bottles got sent back to. Reach out to him. He can maybe help. And I was like, okay, great. So I reach out to him, and I tell him, my sob story, and he says, yeah, just let me know what you need. Like, I'll help you out. And so I reach out to at this point, the bottles have been sitting back at the hotel for the better part of a week and a half. And they're all in a box and everything. And we're trying feverishly to get these bottles back into the possession of DHL instead of just there at the hotel where anybody can grab them.
Right.
And then it dawns on me, like, and I've reached out to DHL. Can you please just pick these up and put them? If I have to pay for storage, I will. But get them back in your possession so that they can be in a lockup instead of at a hotel sitting behind the counter. And so they're like, okay, yeah, no problem. And then that same day, a gentleman named Keith Duncan reaches out and says, I understand you're having some issues. I can help you out. Let me know. And I was like, okay, great. If you could pop off over to this hotel. And he's like, he lives on the other side of town, and Edinburgh's not tiny. And he's like, I'll get over there tomorrow. I was like, perfect. I get a notice from DHL that night that they've retrieved my boxes for me. And I'm like, well, crap. So I'm like, okay, I need them delivered locally to this address. And he gave me his personal address. And so I sent the bottles to him. He sat on those bottles, on those 2 boxes, unopened for the better part of a year while we figured out how to get those bottles to me.
Holy crap.
And mind you, all the while, he is doing all of this legwork because he knows people in the whiskey community who can ship bottles.
Right.
He does all, and it cost me a fair chunk of money. But I have literally, when I say 2 boxes, I'm not talking like a box like you buy a case of whiskey and it's a box. I'm talking like a DHL box. It's like 30 inches by 30 inches by 30 inches packed, and there's 2 of them. Right. Like I said, I bought way more than I should have. And they're all like in protective sleeves and stuff.
Yeah.
Randall, I spent too much money.
Yeah.
So fast forward to the beginning of 2024. This is in 2022 when this happened. Fast forward to the beginning of 2024. Me and my wife are in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
To visit some friends down there. And the bottles get shipped and delivered to my house in Tucson, and we're in Puerto Rico.
Oh God. And they need a signature.
I had a friend who was willing to sit and wait and do the things. But we had some amazing people that helped us with this. But the whiskey community, this guy just out of the blue was just like, yeah, no problem. He would not accept a dime.
Oh my gosh.
So of course I went on. I don't know if anybody knows this, but in the UK and Europe, you can buy whiskey on Amazon. I changed my Amazon settings so that it looked like I was in the UK, and periodically I send him bottles of whiskey because I have his address.
Yeah.
So he made a Facebook post one day, is upside down bottle of Octomore. I was like, yeah, he needs another one of those, so send him that. Like, I mean, he sat on $6,000 worth of whiskey for a year and a half.
Holy sh! What are we doing? Yeah,
bro. I went to Faish for my first time.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm not. No shame. No shame. No shame.
Right? Like, yeah. So like, no, not that one. This one. You know, Rock'n'Doll 1.2. You know, right. Like, I'm never gonna. So bottles like that. You know, Port Charlotte 2012, heavily peated, you know, stuff like that you're never going to be, I'm never going to be able to get that again. And so I went through that like FOMO phase, you know, where like, I'm never going to get this. Now I'm just like, yeah, if I get to try it once, that's good enough. I'll try it because they do have at the events, they have a lot of the whiskeys you can try them. But I mean, and those are just two things. Anyways, long story short, the whiskey community is the best.
Absolutely.
The people are amazing. And I don't just say that because I'm in it.
Absolutely. Well, and that's a great place to put a pin in this, because I didn't even tell you how long we were supposed to go, but we are like an hour after that. So, at this point,
will definitely be a 3-parter.
I mean, Plunkett's gonna plunk it, right? I mean, it's a thing. But here's the whole thing: whiskey community, work community, life community. Keep people in your circle that are awesome people, because they're going to help you do the things that you need to do, whatever it is. If you're trying to smuggle $6,000 worth of whiskey across the border, whatever, they're going to help you in that however they can. Or if they're trying to build up your business to be a $1 million business or more, there are people in the industry, not only whiskey, but business, and hopefully whiskey and business, that can help you with that. And I feel like that's what this whole episode was about understanding, having good whiskey, the whiskey community, but also life and running a business and trying to get everything kind of packed into this little package to where you can be like, this is life. This is life right here. But then there's also all the greenery around it that, you know, that is other parts of life that we haven't even dipped into. And Chris, this has been an absolutely fantastic episode. I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me, but also just for being a cool dude and an entrepreneur and a person that wants to help other people and wants to be like, I'm going to say it, and I don't know who you would mentor, but be a mentor to other people. Don't do what Chris does. I promise. Do not try and smuggle whiskey. But at the same time, like he is doing the Lord's work, and I feel that, and I see that in what he's doing. And this episode right here has changed the way I feel about a lot of things, because, you know, when you're going through the daily grind of doing everything, just life in general, you realize that at one point you're like, what am I even doing? Like just freaking turn it off. Like, we're done. And then you get a Plunkett comes in and he's like, you know what? Remember that one time that this happened and I shut down the entire somm school because I got COVID? Remember that time? Remember what had happened? I did that. That was me. So, I mean, You can't make, and the funny thing is, you can't make any of this up. Like, this is not stuff that you would even want to make up. So, like, to me, that means so much more. And I can't wait to have more of people like-minded like you on here to talk about their story and where they came from in the whiskey industry, because I feel like this is like a segment inside of this whole podcast, because like I feel like
you know what? You got the 3 guys, 1 grain.
I do.
I think this needs to be a whiskey business segment.
It very well could be.
And it doesn't necessarily mean it's the business of whiskey. It's just whiskey and business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Guys, I know it's been a minute, but y'all be good. And any last questions, any last answers to give us, Chris, with your...
No, we'll save it for the next one.
Okay. Because there will be one for sure. Y'all be good. And until next time, be blessed. Peace.